Okay, so I'm setting up everything now for YouTube and D-Live. I'm hoping that it's working out. Let me check for D-Live, see what's going on. Yeah, it's not gonna let me change. Oh, I've got to manually start that. That's right. So let me get that started up. Checking the audio too, making sure everything's okay. Checking the audio's good on Rumble. Let me get that started. Audio's good on YouTube. Checking the audio goods on D-Live. And I'm still waiting for Odyssey to confirm the live stream, so this is going to take a little bit, and until it's done I am going to run in and get me some coffee and take a smoke. I have the Jitsi open, shared it on both Discord as well as on Skype, so if you guys want to join with that, you're more than welcome to. I'm available on all the channels that I just did the sound checks on, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a smoke. If there's nobody in Jitsi, I'm just going to cut it off and be done with it. If you guys want to join on Discord or Skype instead of Jitsi, let me know and I can get the chat going on there too. But this is going to get finished today. I've got my notes on the Thunderbird. The discussion is going to be about the legend of the Thunderbird and Quetzalcoatl. So that is going to be the topic, and I'll be right back. So give me a little bit, and we will get started. Okay, so we were able to get Odyssey on them, do a final test with the audio, make sure everything sounds good. Okay, so we were able to get Odyssey on. Audio sounds good. So now it's time to get on with the show. Today I am, well, hold on, let me go ahead and do my countdown and hit record. I need to keep this in track. I was going to do this again without starting, so let me get this started. Okay, 3. Wait, hold on. Messed up. Did the wrong one. Alright. Now, let me do this. Okay, 3, 2, 1, now. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of WWOW Talk. Today my name is Roger Hanson, and today I am going to continue where we left off before with WWOW Talk. We were discussing the Indus Valley, and I was finishing up on that and talking about some of the things that stuck out to me. Now, this whole conversation was actually started because of a viewer who came on and was curious about images of a dinosaur, or a freaking dragon that was near the Grand Canyon, and then she also watched a lot of WWOW and seen a photo of a, I guess you could say, reptilian sea monster or something of that nature in the water on WWOW's videos. So we got into it, and I started talking about the history of the relationship between the serpent and the birds, and the eagle. And I discussed things like Tiamat and the old Sumerian and Babylonian gods, and we started talking about the goddess Namu. And then I mentioned the myth of Etna, and then I went into Dalmun, discussing Dalmun and the history concerning the Garden of Eden and stuff. So we ended up going into that, and then eventually, after I was done with that, that's when we got into the conversation of the freaking Indus Valley. And now, after finishing the Indus Valley, I would like to continue, or actually I mentioned another god. It was Surya, which is a Hindu god that he's not worshipped anymore, but he was a part of the pantheon for the longest time. And then I mentioned the Garuda, which is a mythology from of the Hindus. I believe he's a sun god. So we ended up going through all of that, and now I've finally reached the part where I wanted to get into the thunder god. So I before I wanted to get into that, there was a few interesting things that I wanted to bring up to just concerning the channel, so that everybody knows I have new shows that are coming up on the wonderful world of weirdness. And what they are, they're archived uploads that I've scheduled in. There's 5 days out of the 7 days of the week that are covered, so that we'll have at least 5 videos coming out each week. The new series are going to have Karma Love in each episode, and we will also have people in it such as Mr. Robot and other people on the Conspiracy podcast. I already have that started in June. The rest of them are starting up in July. Now, with that one, I've had Karma Love on there, as well as Pecos Dave, so that was pretty good. Now we are also starting a few more of them, as well as still having Campfire Stories. We will have a Ancient Mysteries, which is going to be a little bit of something about what we've been discussing here. We're going to go into more detail on some stuff. That's going to be me and Karma Love. I also have footage or audio of me and Tanhai Tran doing a little bit of coverage over the Amorites. That's going to be interesting if you guys are interested in that. Besides that, we are also going to be doing Strange Stories. That's going to be good, so if you guys want to check that out. And if you want... Hold on a minute. Okay, so like I said, we have Strange Stories, which is coming out, and that's going to be with me and Karma Love as well. So you can check those out. As well as that, I also have, I said Ancient Mysteries and Strange Stories. Then there's Ancient Mysteries, which is pretty good. That's the one with Tanhai Tran and Karma Love in it. I'm going to work on getting more videos out concerning ancient aliens. So far, Austin said that he's got some material that he wants to put forth. Mr. Robot says that he's wanting to do some stuff too, so we'll be able to have that going as well. So we will keep you updated on that. I don't really know exactly what's going on there, but we'll keep you posted about it. And if nothing else, I'll be doing it, because it's like I said before, the show's gotta go, must go on basically. So any way you look at it, they will be coming out, and I'll have them ready and set up to go. So with that, I believe I have this pretty much covered. Now we are going to have quite a bit of WWOW Talk. I've got a lot of video that's scheduled on archived uploads, and I don't know when the next live stream for WWOW Talk's going to be, because I'm in the middle of a transition at the moment. So we will be we'll be having quite a bit of stuff coming out that will be interesting for you guys, is basically all I'm saying. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and check all of the streams, make sure everything's still going good, and I will get on with the topic. So Like I said, if you guys want to make any comments in the chat sessions, feel free to do so, and I will mention whatever you say in stream. Um, that's pretty important to me. And I also want to say, yeah, that was something else that I forgot. Um, if you notice, we haven't continued with the Q&A test streams, and the reason for that is because that was John's baby. He's the one that came out with that, and I kept it going for a while. But I have decided that I'm no longer going to continue doing the Q&A test streams. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set aside time, like right now, what I'm doing now, to kind of give you updates on what's going on with the channel, things of that nature. If you want to ask questions and have them answered, this would be the perfect time to do it. And while we are doing that, what's going to happen is I'm going to go into the topics that people are wanting to basically hear, or suggesting. This was suggested by In the Flesh on I believe on YouTube or Discord at least. So she had this topic, and I pulled up some information, and I decided to share it with you. So we are going to set that up and keep that going for you guys so that you can enjoy it. And with that being said, we can get things going. So like I said, we were discussing the Indus Valley, and now we are going into the topic on the Thunderbird. Now, the Thunderbird is a legendary creature. It was particularly famous or legendary in the with the North American indigenous people, their history and cultures. Now this bird was considered a supernatural being of power and strength. It's especially important and frequently depicted in the art, songs, and oral history of many Pacific Northwest coast cultures, but is also found in various forms among some people of the American Southwest, East Coast of the United States, Great Lakes, and Great Plains. In modern times, it has achieved notoriety as a purported cryptid, which is similar to creatures such as Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. Now, the Thunderbird is said to create thunder by flapping its wings. Now, that goes along with the Algonquian and lightning also flashes from its eyes. So Algonquin is what they go by. So that's what they believe in. Now, the Thunderbird myth and motif is prevalent among the Algonquin people in the Northeast, and that would be Eastern Canada and Northeastern United States, and the Iroquois people as well. The discussion of the Northeast region has included Algonquin-speaking people in the lakes bordering U.S. Midwest states. Now, in Algonquin mythology, the Thunderbird controls the upper world, while the underworld is governed by the underwater panther or great horned serpent. And see, there you go with the serpent bird connection, you know what I mean? And this goes along a lot of different cultures all throughout history. There's it's prevalent among the eagles. It's usually the eagle and the serpent, which is usually represented by the snake. So, and this symbol has been around since the beginning of civilization with the Sumerian people all the way up until even now, like I said in the last episode on the $1 bill. Okay? So keep that in mind. Now the Thunderbird creates not just thunder with its wing flapping, but lightning bolts which it casts at the underworld creatures. So while it's flapping its wings, it's creating thunder, but it's also shooting lightning bolts at the underworld creatures below them. Now, Thunderbirds that are depicted in the X shape in this is a tradition that usually seen, and it's also seen as a spread-eagled bird, but it's also common with the head facing forward, and this presenting an X-shaped appearance overall, basically. So the head's facing forward, and it's a spread-eagled bird. You know what I mean? And it creates kind of like an X shape that goes with it. Now the Ojibwe version of the myth states that the Thunderbirds were created by Nanabazu to fight the underworld spirits. Thunderbirds also punish humans who broke moral laws. The Thunderbirds lived in the four directions and arrived with the other birds in the springtime. In the fall, they migrated south after the end of the underworld spirit's most dangerous season. Now, the Menominee of northwest Wisconsin tell of a great mountain that floats in the western sky on which dwell the Thunderbirds. They control the rain and hail and delight in fighting the deeds of greatness. Now, they are enemies of the great horned snake and have prevented these from overrunning the earth and devouring humankind. They are messengers of the great sun himself. Now, the Thunderbird motif is also seen in the Sioux-speaking peoples, which includes tribes traditionally occupying areas around the Great Lakes. Ho-Chunk tradition states that the man who has a vision of a Thunderbird during a solidarity fast will become a war chief of the people. In Algonquin images, the X-shaped Thunderbird is often used to depict the Thunderbird with its wings alongside its body and the head facing forward instead of in profile, so instead of sideways, I guess. Now, the depiction may be stylized and simplified. The headless X-shaped Thunderbird was found on an Ojibwe Medwewin disc dated to 1250 or between 1250 to 1400 CE. In an 18th century manuscript written by the namesake grandson of Governor Matthew Mayhew, the Thunderbird pictograms varies from recognizable birds to simply an incised X. American science historian and folklorist Adrian Mayer and British historian Tom Holland have both suggested that indigenous Thunderbird stories are based on discoveries of pterosaur fossils by Native Americans. However, it has also been noted by tribal historians despite variations. Now, much indigenous references are verbal and difficult to reference. The typical design elements of the motif within different tribal groups across the continent appear distinct from the makeup of the suggested prehistoric flying reptile, such as eagle or reptor, like avian feathered wings and tail, along with a vastly different head shape, perhaps with the exception of some Pacific Northwest imagery. So basically, what's being said there is, even though they're trying to make this connection with the idea that the Indians were taking reference off of fossils that they themselves had found of dinosaurs, that the actual way that the dinosaurs look didn't match up with what the lore of the Thunderbird actually describes it to be. So at least that's the way I take it. Now, that is the story of the Thunderbird that I was able to pull up. Now, there's also something that is interesting that I did want to go into before I get into Quetzalcoatl. And this has to do with a place here in the United States. It's called the Serpent Mound. Now, a long time ago, I used to watch I used to watch a show. It was called Leak Project, and it was a pretty good show. And dude was on there, and he was on one of his episodes, he was visiting the Serpent Mound, and I thought that was pretty cool because he went over it with a drone and took freaking video of it over high up in the air, and it's pretty good footage. So if you guys want to check that out, I'd suggest going to Leak Project and maybe looking it up. It's a pretty good video. He did a real good job on that. So with that being said, I'm going to read some stuff about Serpent Mound. I got this off of OhioHistory.org. So this is what they have to say about the history of Serpent Mound. Now, Serpent Mound is an internationally known National Historic Landmark built by the ancient American Indian cultures of Ohio. It is an effigy mound, a mound in the shape of an animal, representing a snake with a curled tail. Nearby are 3 burial mounds, 2 created by the Adena culture between 1800 BC and 180, and 1 by the Fort Ancient culture between 1000 AD and 1650 AD. Thousands of years ago, native Ohioans populated the landscape with mounds and massive earthworks. In the late 19th century, Harvard University archaeologists Frederick Ward Putnam excavated Serpent Mound but found no artifacts in the serpent that might allow archaeologists to assign it to a particular culture. Based largely on the nearby presence of Adena burial mounds, later archaeologists attributed the effigy to the Adena culture that flourished from 800 BC to 100 AD. This theory on the site's origin was accepted until a 1991 site excavation used radiocarbon dating to determine that the mound was approximately 900 years old. This would suggest that the builder of the serpent belonged to the Fort Ancient culture between 1000 and 1500 AD. In 2014, another team of archaeologists presented new radiocarbon dates for the serpent, suggesting that it was built by the Adena culture at around 300 BC. More work is needed to clarify the age of Serpent Mound. The significance of Serpent Mound and other ancient Ohio earthworks has generated international attention. In 2008, Serpent Mound and 8 other Ohio American Indian earthworks were selected by the United States Department of the Interior for inclusion on the United States tentative list of sites to be submitted to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, for inscription on the prestige World Heritage List. If it is eventually inscribed on the World Heritage List later this decade, Serpent Mound will join the ranks of the pyramids of Egypt, the Great Wall of China, Pompeii, Stonehenge, and the Taj Mahal, all of which are World Heritage sites. World Heritage status has the potential to elevate local and international awareness about the site's value, further encouraging communities to protect and invest in its preservation and increase potential beneficial tourism to the site. So the rest of it goes on to say pets are welcome, and the Serpent Mounds is managed by the Ohio History Connection. So that is a very interesting story right there when it comes to Serpent Mound, because this is a huge, huge mound in the shape of a serpent in Ohio that is, I mean, it's just completely amazing to look at and to read about. And this goes back to what I was talking about with the connection between the eagle, or the bird, and the serpent. And this is scattered all across America and into Canada, and it goes from there to Mexico as well with the Aztecs. We were just talking about that with this is Dory D. Me and Bob Dub were just the other day whenever I was on one of their streams, and I think it's pretty cool, how that's all connected with even the Aztecs, with the eagle at least. And then you go even farther with the episodes that we've done recently, where we go back all the way to the Sumerians, and we discuss, the bird reptile connection and the symbolism and how it's still here today with us in today's world. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, let's see here. Now that we are done with that, I think we should go on to Quetzalcoatl, and I will end the stream after that. So we have Quetzalcoatl, and he's a deity in the Aztec culture and literature. Among the Aztec, he was related to wind, Venus, sun, merchants, arts, crafts, knowledge, and learning. He was also the patron god of the Aztecs' priesthood. Quetzalcoatl wears around his neck the breastplate, it's pretty crazy name. Ihikakakazakatel, the spiritual veluted wind jewel. This talisman was a conch shell cut at the cross section and was likely worn as a necklace by religious rulers, as such objects have been discovered in burials in archaeological sites throughout Mesoamerica and potentially symbolized patterns witnessed in hurricanes, dust devils, seashells, and whirlpools, which were elemental forces that had significance in Aztec mythology. Codex drawings pictured both Quetzalcoatl and Xolotl, which I always had a problem with pronouncing. Xolotl, which pictured both Quetzalcoatl and Xolotl wearing an ihikakakazakotl around the neck. Additionally, at least one major cache of offerings includes knives and idols adorned with the symbols of more than one god, some of which were adorned with wind jewels. Animals thought to represent Quetzalcoatl include resplendent quetzal, rattlesnakes, crows, and macaws. In his form as a hecatl, he is the wind and is represented by spider monkeys, ducks, and the wind itself. In his form as the morning star, Venus, he is also depicted as a harpy eagle, and there we go with the eagle. The earliest known documentation of the worship of a feathered serpent occurs in Teotihuacan in the 1st century BC or 1st century AD. That period lies within the late pre-classic to early classic period. That's between 400 BC and 600 AD in Mesoamerican chronology. Veneration of the figure appears to have spread throughout Mesoamerica by the late classic period, 600 to 900 AD. In the post-classic period, which is 900 to 1519 AD, the worship of the feathered serpent deity centered in the primary Mexican religious centers of Cholula. In this period, the deity is known to have been named Quetzalcoatl by his Nahu followers. In the Maya area, he was approximately equivalent to Kukulkan and Gukumats, names that also roughly translate as feathered serpent in different Mayan languages. In the era following the 16th century Spanish conquests of the Aztec Empire, a number of the records conflated Quetzalcoatl with, say, Acatl Tupleton, a ruler of the mythico-historic city of Tolan. Historians debate to what degree or whether at all these narratives about this legendary Toltec ruler describe historical events Furthermore, early Spanish sources written by clerics tend to identify the god ruler Quetzalcoatl of these narratives with either Hernan Cortez or Thomas the Apostle. Identifications which have also become sources of a diversity of opinions about the nature of Quetzalcoatl. The name Quetzalcoatl comes from the Nahuatl language and means precious serpent or Quetzal feathered serpent. In the 17th century, Ixtlaxoatl, a descendant of Aztec royalty and historian of the Nahu people, wrote Quetzalcoatl in its literal sense means serpent of precious feathers, but in the allegoric sense, wisest of men. Now, that is the end of what I have got for this information. I wanted to finish this up and kind of go over some of the stuff and read it to you guys. I've left references to the ohiohistory.org site that mentions the Serpent Mound on Mind's chat in Live with Roger Hansen. So if you guys would like to see that, you're more than welcome to look at that. I've also left it in, I believe I left it in the, no, I believe I did post it in Skype. It's on Skype and available to anybody who wishes to check it out. No, it's not. So what I'll do is I'll post it in there, and you guys can check it out if you are interested in reading about that with straight from the Ohio site. Now, like I said too, it's also available with the Leak Project. Now, he went in and he really did a good job at checking the site out, and he gave a little bit of history on it. It's actually pretty cool. So if I was you guys, I would actually go in and check it out and maybe give it a read if there's anything to read, you know what I mean? So there you go. I am posting it on Discord as well. I thought that I had this stuff posted, but I didn't. So let's see what we got here. How long did we lasted for 37 minutes. I'm going over to all of the channels to see if anybody's made any comments, and if they haven't, I'm going to go ahead and call this quits for the day. Now, with WWOW Talk, I am going to leave it open to I'm going to leave it open to if I'm going to stream again or not for the year. What it basically is everybody who's working with me right now, we're taking a break. Summer Todd in Austin are taking a break from Summer Todd's mystery show so that they can regroup and come back in October. I'm still on standby with Bob Dub. I don't know exactly what she's going to do. She's got her thing going on, so I've offered to do a show with her if she wanted to do one. So that was supposed to start today or at the beginning of July, so I don't know what she's planning on doing. I'll keep everybody posted on that, but I don't know. But right now what I'm doing is I'm setting up uploads to where we'll have content that is being posted, and everybody will have something to watch for future for the future episodes of it. And I'm archiving and editing still, so I'm not gone. I'm just back in the background taking care of things as they need to be and getting things started. I also should mention too that the Wonderful World of Weirdness has created its own crypto currency. We do have the WWOW coin. It's on MintMe.com. It's down in the description. If you guys want to invest in the Wonderful World of Weirdness, this would be the best way of going at it. If you need any help, you can contact me and we can get things started. So it's up to you on what you want to do. Also, I would like to say that we are taking stories from people who wish to tell stories about what's happened to them, or campfire stories that I've got going on the Wonderful World of Weirdness right now. If you want to tell a story, send it to Summer Todd. She has her email listed in the comment section as well, and she would be willing to get them and pass them on to me and Austin, or do something herself, whichever way whichever way she wants to do it. But if you have those stories and you want to share them, feel free to send them our way. We'd be willing to tell your story on the internet. You don't have to give your name. You can if you want. It's up to you, but you don't have to. That's just how we do things. So I believe I've covered everything. I'm not quite sure. I know that here lately I've been slacking on telling people, what we're into and what we are wanting to do and stuff like that. I believe we've done good on it. I'm checking all of the chats to make sure that I did not miss anything, and by the looks of it, we are all clear. We dodged a bullet, didn't have to talk to nobody, and we are good. We did it. I'd like to thank everybody who came in to check out the stream. We had 2 viewers on YouTube. 65 views on YouTube, which was good. I'm still trying to give DLive a chance, but it's kind of getting ridiculous. I've got absolutely no views whatsoever on DLive, which is just outlandish. It's like it's actually worse than what it is to be on Twitch, and being on Twitch is pretty bad. So with that, I am going to end this and